The sunset gradually faded behind the towering trees. The desolate forest was silent, with only the occasional chirping of birds and the rustling of the wind through the leaves. The girl adjusted the straps of her backpack and walked swiftly along the narrow trail. She had been walking for nearly 3 hours since leaving the last village. The spot she chose to set up camp was a small clearing near a gentle stream far enough to avoid wild animals but close enough to have a clean water source. Looking at the gray sky, she knew it would rain tonight. Quickly, she set up her tent under the canopy of a large tree, carefully securing the tent ropes to withstand strong winds. A chill ran down her spine as the cold wind brushed against her neck. She gathered dry firewood and used a fire starter to ignite a small flame. Sparks flew, and finally, the pile of wood caught fire, radiating a comforting warmth. Raindrops began to fall, pattering against the tent roof, blending with the crackling sound of the burning firewood. Sitting by the fire, she carefully grilled a fish she had caught earlier. The rich aroma of cooked fish filled the air, mixing with the damp earth and the fresh scent of the forest leaves. She enjoyed her simple meal in silence, accompanied only by the sounds of nature. Night fell. The rain grew heavier, but inside the tent, she felt safe. The steady rhythm of raindrops falling was like a lullaby. She wrapped herself in her sleeping bag, her eyes slowly closing as she drifted into sleep. She woke up at dawn when the sky was still dim. The rain had stopped, leaving the ground damp and the air fresh. Gently pulling back the tent flap, she looked outside. The entire forest remained in a peaceful silence, with only the soft dripping of water falling from the leaves onto the earth. Stretching to wake up her body, she quickly packed up her campsite. The heavy rain from last night had caused several branches to break and fall nearby. She gathered the dry firewood that was still usable, wrapped it carefully in a waterproof cloth, and stored it in her backpack. She crouched by the stream, splashing cool water onto her face, feeling the refreshing sensation chase away any lingering drowsiness. A small school of fish swam gracefully beneath the crystal clear surface, their scales glistening under the morning light. She smiled softly, feeling grateful for nature's endless generosity in offering her such simple yet beautiful moments. The journey ahead was still long, and she continued forward. The forest before her was full of mysteries, but it also held great promise. One day, she would return to this place, or perhaps, she would set out to explore new lands, where fresh challenges awaited her. Because for her, nature was not just a place to survive, it was home. She walked along the stream, the gentle sound of flowing water accompanying her, blending with the morning calls of forest birds. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting dappled patterns of light and shadow on the damp earth. She took a deep breath, letting the crisp morning air fill her lungs, washing away the lingering fatigue from last night's rain. After walking for a while, she stopped beneath a massive ancient tree. She needed to replenish her energy before continuing. Reaching into her backpack, she pulled out some dried food and a bottle of water. Sitting on a moss-covered rock, she quietly chewed her ration. The crisp crunch of the food mixed with the tranquil sounds of the forest, creating an oddly soothing moment of peace. But that peace didn't last long. A strange noise echoed from a distance. She stopped chewing, ears straining to listen. The sound was faint, like footsteps crunching over dry leaves, slow but steady. Holding her breath, she scanned the area. No sign of another person, only towering trees, gently swaying in the morning breeze. Her instincts told her she was being watched. Moving swiftly, she packed up her belongings and picked up her pace. But before she got far, a loud snap rang out to her left, the sound of a breaking branch. Her heart pounded. A large animal? Or someone? She couldn't afford to wait and find out. Quickly, she veered onto a smaller, less visible path, moving as fast as she could while keeping her steps controlled and quiet. Her fingers tightened around a survival knife strapped to her belt, ready for whatever or whoever was out there. After covering a significant distance, she finally stopped, pressing herself against the trunk of a massive tree. She focused on steadying her breathing, listening carefully for any sign of movement. Nothing. Maybe it was just a deer or a wild boar. Or, maybe someone was out there, hiding in the shadows. She didn't plan to stay long enough to find out. The deep forest held countless unknowns, and she wasn't about to take unnecessary risks. Choosing caution, she continued her journey, this time avoiding clear trails, making it harder for anyone or anything to track her. She continued moving forward, pushing through dense undergrowth. The unsettling feeling of being watched hadn't entirely faded, but she forced herself to focus on finding a safer place to rest for the night. The sun rose higher, its rays piercing through the leafy canopy, creating shimmering patterns on the damp forest floor. She took out her water bottle, sipping carefully to conserve her supply, then checked her backpack. She had only a small portion of dried food left and a few pieces of smoked fish from last night. If she wanted to keep going, she needed to find more food. Stopping by the base of a massive tree, she scanned her surroundings. Not far away, a small stream meandered over moss-covered rocks. She approached it, crouching by the clear water. Schools of tiny fish darted beneath the rippling surface, glistening in the sunlight. This was a perfect chance to secure a meal. Drawing her survival knife, she lowered her body, waiting patiently. When a larger fish swam close, she struck swiftly. Water splashed as she lifted her blade, an iridescent silverfish writhing at its tip. She quickly carried it to the shore, scaling and cleaning it with precise, practiced movements. Gathering dry twigs from the forest floor, she built a fire and skewered the fish on a sturdy branch, placing it over the glowing embers. The rich, smoky aroma filled the air, mingling with the gentle murmur of the stream and the cheerful chirping of birds. As she sat by the water's edge, a cool breeze tousled her messy hair. These were the moments that made her love the wilderness. No noise, no crowds, just her and the vast, untamed world. After finishing her meal, she quickly extinguished the fire and cleaned up, making sure to leave no trace that could attract predators. She knew that survival in the wild wasn't just about finding food and water, it was also about avoiding unforeseen dangers. Now, she faced a decision: should she press deeper into the forest or find shelter for the night? Glancing up at the sky, she noticed the sun beginning its descent. If she wanted to set up camp before nightfall, she had to act fast. Tightening the straps of her backpack, she took a deep breath and stepped forward, continuing her journey into the wild where new challenges and unknown adventures awaited. The sky gradually cleared, and the bright sun began to filter through the leaves, marking the start of a new day. Yet, deep inside, an uneasy feeling remained. This journey seemed far from over, and the real challenges might just be beginning. Taking a deep breath, she adjusted the straps of her backpack and stepped forward once more, venturing deeper into the wild, into the unknown.